Hello everyone, my name is Mohammad Mudassir Khan. I am a student of Faculty of Engineering and Technology at University of Lucknow. I am going to present before you a presentation prepared by me on the topic paddy straw-based power generation from biogas. The word paddy is derived from the Malay word padi, meaning rice plant. Rice is most widely consumed crop after sugarcane and maize globally. About 740.995 million metric tons of rice was produced worldwide in the year 2013 to 14. Asia is primary producer of rice with 90.1% share, while India itself growing one-fifth of world's total rice produce. In India, paddy is cultivated in about 43.95 million hectares, producing about 106.54 million tons of rice and approximately 160 million tons of straw. Now the question arises, why utilization of paddy straw is necessary? The mechanized harvesting of paddy crop has led into open field burning of paddy straw. Burning of millions of tons of paddy straw releases huge potent greenhouse gases, which causes a lot of pollution. New Delhi had seen the AQI trend close to 300, which is the very poor category. Every year, during the paddy harvesting season, this burning causes a manifold increase in the pollution levels of the adjoining areas of NCR. Now, we will see what are the effects of open burning of paddy straw. Researchers have suggested that open field burning of paddy straw contributes heavily towards harmful greenhouse gas emissions. Experimentally, it has been evaluated that 1 ton of paddy straw releases 3 kg particulate matter, 60 kg carbon monoxide, 1460 kg carbon dioxide, 199 kg ash, and 2 kg sulfur dioxide. Locally, paddy straw burning affects the environment as these air pollutants have significant toxicological properties and are notably potential carcinogens. How to overcome low yield of biogas? We can overcome the low yield of biogas by doing the pre-treatment. We can do the pre-treatment by various methods. In the first method, we will optimize the carbon nitrogen ratio. In the paddy straw, the nitrogen content is very low. So the carbon nitrogen ratio is generally about 54. To overcome this problem, nitrogen source such as azolla, urea, and de-oiled rice bran at an optimum concentration is added to maintain carbon nitrogen ratio equivalent to 20 to 25. Fungal pretreatment brown rot fungus methods is used. Fungal pretreatment white rot fungus method are also used. In the fungal pretreatment, the brown and white rot fungus are introduced to the paddy straw and they are kept for about 3 weeks. Let us see a case study on biogas-based 1 megawatt power generation system in Fazilka district in Punjab. This is the first biogas-based power plant in India which is operating on paddy straw for large-scale biogas production. Sampoon Agri Ventures Private Limited is a private limited company established in 2006 to set up a project of cogeneration of power and biofertilizer at village Panchanwali in Fazilka district, Punjab. The project was sanctioned as a mega project by the government of Punjab in the month of December 2011. The installed biogas production system is based on a 100% usage of paddy straw as a substrate for biogas production. The established facilities were supposed to produce nearly 12,000 meter cube per day of biogas from 40 tons of paddy straw to run power generation system for 24 hours to produce electricity at 1 megawatt scale. Let us see a view of paddy straw based biogas plant installed at Fazilka, Punjab. Now, how much household does 1 megawatt can feed? At present, the paddy straw processing capacity of the system is about 10 tons per day. So the net power generated is about 6,555 kilowatt hour. Average household demand in India is about 172.2 kilowatt hour. By dividing it, we will get the number of household which comes out to 37. Nearly 37 households can be supplied power from this plant. Let us see the methodology. First, there will be a collection of paddy straw from the fields. For an efficient transportation, baling is done. In the baling, the paddy straw are compressed and are made so that they can be easily transported to the biogas plant site. Now, on reaching the biogas plant site, they are kept in a storage. After that, they on the paddy straw, pre-treatment methods are done. After the pre-treatment is done, they are transferred to the anaerobic digestion. After the anaerobic digestion, raw biogas is produced and slurry is as a byproduct is produced. Raw biogas has a high concentration of H2S gas, so it is removed so that the power can be generated. Due to the high concentration of H2S gas, the engines will not be able to run efficiently. And from the slurry dehydration is done to produce biomanure, which is rich in silica and NPK. The system comprises various units. Let us see it. Let us see the units. In the first unit is the paddy straw feed preparation unit. The paddy straw received in bales from the entire region of Fazilka, Punjab is stored in a storage unit. Further, the paddy straw is manually spread over the width of a conveyor belt to be fed into the pulverization unit for its size reduction to a level of 3 to 5 mm. The average capacity of paddy straw pulverization unit is 1 tons per hour. Here is a photo which is showing paddy straw being used for feed preparation. Next, there is a substrate feeding unit. The pulverized paddy straw is taken from the conveyor belt to a blending tank where it is mixed with water. The water is obtained from a solid liquid separation of biogas spent slurry. In the tank, the total solid concentration is maintained at a level of 10 to 15%. The blended substrate is fed to the anaerobic digester through a pump comprising blended substrate handling capacity of 30 meter cube per hour. In the next unit, we will see biogas generation unit. This unit consists of three anaerobic reactors wherein the water capacity of two reactors is 3,400 meter cube. And for one reactor, which is CSTR type, continuously stirred tank reactor, its capacity is 2,000 meter cube. The prepared paddy straw are first fed into the two digester through the feeding unit, where substrate manages to hold for nearly 30 days of retention time. The digestate of these two reactors thereafter sent to the CSTR reactor, where the retention time is 10 days. This anaerobic digester produces nearly 3,000 meter cube biogas per day, with methane and carbon dioxide content in the range of 50 to 55% and 40 to 45% respectively. The hydrogen sulfide content in produced biogas varied from 500 to 800 ppm. The hydrogen gas is removed in the hydrogen sulfide scrubbing unit. The biogas produced from anaerobic reactors are passed through this scrubber at a flow rate of nearly 500 meter cube per hour to reduce the concentration. It is an essential requirement to reduce the hydrogen sulfide level below 50 ppm to use biogas as a fuel to operate engine. In this unit, the conversion of hydrogen sulfide takes place into formation of ammonium sulfide and phosphoric acid with the help of diammonium phosphate. The product thus obtained has large potential application for regeneration of saline soils. Power generation and grid feeding unit. The power generation unit consists of an MWM make German make 100% biogas engine generator which consists of six cylinders with the capacity to produce 1 megawatt per hour electrical energy through an alternator of three phase of 415 volt. The consumption of biogas is nearly 500 meter cube biogas per hour. The electricity produced from the power generation unit is being fed to the national electricity grid through an 11 kilovolt transformer and necessary power control systems. Here are the pictures of the engine and the control panel. Now we will see about the biofertilizer production. The biofertilizers are produced from the slurry. Biofertilizer production unit comprises of slurry dehydration system. The unit consists of two horizontal solid-liquid separating machines with a slurry handling capacity of 8 meter cube per hour. The system is able to separate solid material that is nearly 600 kg per hour with a moisture content of 65%. The separated liquid is recycled to prepare paddy straw substrate in blending tank. Advantage of biogas generation from paddy straw is the production of silica-rich biofertilizer. Now let's have a look on results. Energy and cost benefit analysis of biogas production. From the tables, it is evident that the conversion of paddy straw to biogas via pulverization achieve a net positive energy of 655 kilovolt hour per ton, and cost benefit is about 6,916 per ton of paddy straw. Table 3 shows the cost benefit analysis for installation of such project over a period of 5 years. It is evident from the table that with capital investment of 80.55 million INR, the project break-even meets in between 3 to 4 hours, which make paddy straw-based biogas project an economical positive impact. Now the conclusions can be drawn as the paddy straw burning is a serious concern in India and has been driving attention of policymakers and researchers. The power generation data showed that the methane results in electricity generation of 777 kilowatt hour per ton of paddy straw. The output to input energy ratio is 5.5. The present level of utilization of paddy straw at Fazilka, Punjab showed a saving of 120 gigajoules per day energy, which otherwise would have been released into the atmosphere by their direct combustion. Pollutants from direct combustion of paddy straw amounts to 30 kg of particulate matter, 600 kg of carbon monoxide, 14.6 tons of carbon dioxide, and 20 kg of sulfur dioxide emissions, which has significant toxicological properties and are potential carcinogen. This analysis further revealed that the paddy straw reduces net global warming potential by 2,750 carbon dioxide equivalent emissions per ton. Thank you.